Kiwis love a thirst. Like Finn, we're making waves. Generate. Switch online today.
Theo Pratt, welcome to my podcast.
Hello. Good to be back.
Yeah, because I had your friend, Rosie Overcomer, on the podcast maybe a year ago, and you were sitting in the room at the time.
Yeah.
And finally now we connect. Why now?
Well, my book's out now, and it's going to be good sharing my story and just getting my voice out there.
Yeah, for those of you watching this podcast rather than listening, I'm holding a copy of this is your first copy of the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, Unveiled, A Story of Surviving Gloriavale by Theo Pratt. Are you happy with it?
Yeah, pretty proud of it.
Yeah. Was it a cathartic experience? Was it a painful experience?
It was a cathartic experience, but it also, through it, I found out, more things about my childhood and, got more stories out of my mum from it, which was, I guess, it was overwhelming at times, but no, overall, it was good.
Oh, so your mum played a hand in this, played a part in this?
Yeah, I think I wanted to get her, I guess, side of it as well and talk about how she joined Gloriavale and what led her to that. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, can I say, because I've done quite a bit of research for this and we've got a lot of ground to cover while you're here. But yeah, I wanted to know about the status of your relationship with your mum because the last time, well, I guess it's not the last time I saw you, but I thought the last time you maybe saw her would have been in 2016 when she dropped you off at the bus stop. And this is you leaving Gloriavale, and she said to you, you're basically going to rot in hell.
Yeah.
But you've sort of rekindled and reconnected since then.
Yeah, I think since then we have, over time. A lot of that is from me reporting a lot of the abuse I experienced in there to the police. And then from that sort of opened up our relationship because she wasn't aware of a lot of it. But yeah, it's been a journey. My sister, who's been out for 3 years, her coming out sort of opened up my mum's relationship, and then police being involved and her being able to get a phone in there has sort of led to us having communication.
Yeah, my God, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've put quite a bit of thought into this, into how we structure it, because it's quite a complex story.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people on Instagram that posted questions for me to ask you, and a lot of those, I don't know, I suppose they're quite kind of trivial on the big scheme of things, or curious, like music related, pop culture related about the outside world versus Gloriavale. So I thought maybe we'll get them done first, and then we'll unpick some of your story.
Sounds
that
good.
might be the best way to do it. First of all, a lot of people might remember you from the Gloriavale documentary, Escaping Utopia, which was on TVNZ last year. Can you remember what your famous line was?
Oh, what is it? Don't know who Taylor Swift is, but I know how to make cheese.
Yeah. I know, word for word, it's I know how to make cheese, but I don't know who Taylor Swift is. Do you know who Taylor Swift is now?
Oh, 100%.
What do you like more? What do you like more, cheese or Taylor?
Oh, I think Taylor.
Really?
Just a little bit, no.
I'm a Swiftie, but I love cheese as well. If I had to pick one for the rest of my life, I'd probably go with cheese. Yeah, so you've got the book out as well, and you're also the first woman from Gloriavale to earn a degree.
Yeah. There's been a couple more now, but getting my degree is probably the best thing I've done since leaving. Yep.
Yeah, and another reference point, because the documentary came out a while ago on TV and said it was over a year ago. You're the one that's got a sister in India called Precious, who's been there since 2012. And this was another quote, a more serious one from the documentary. My goal is I will not let her be forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're sticking to that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got this tattoo on my arm, which is a drawing that my nephews did in India, which is just my reminder that, I'm not going to give up and going to find a way to get her back to New Zealand and the other women and their children.
Fantastic. Okay, more on that later. First of all, the Instagram stuff. Someone said if you were writing an outside survival guide for people leaving Gloriavale, Like, what would be some of the key things in it? You know, so like an instruction manual. So they drop you off at the bus stop. They tell you you're going to spend the rest of your life burning in hell. What would have been helpful information to have?
I think more like money management, and then just like social skills, knowing like how to introduce yourself and that sort of things, just how to have a conversation with someone.
What do you mean?
In there, you only had conversations with people you've ever like grown up with, and you don't introduce yourself to anyone or say hello or things like that. And money wise, I only had ever seen a $5 note before leaving. I didn't know what $200 meant in the scheme of things. And knowing how to go to the supermarket and things like that. Like choosing what to have for dinner, like that sort of thing. It's probably just the really everyday life sort of stuff.
Does it take you long once you leave Gloriavale to get your head around that stuff?
I mean, you learn the hard way for a lot of it. Like, it's trial and error. But I think just a lot of it comes down to being able to make choices. And if you can learn that skill, then you sort of, everything else becomes easier.
Yeah. There's some stuff in the book that you only sent it to me yesterday, so I haven't read the whole thing. I've just had a flick through, but some of it's it sort of touches your heart. It's kind of cute in a way. It's like you leave Gloriavale, they give you $200.
Yeah.
And you think you're rich.
Yeah.
Then you get to Auckland and you realise, oh, okay, $200 ain't going to get me far.
Nah, pretty much.
I love that.
Yeah.
Someone else said, what are the most positive and most negative things you learned from growing up in Gloriavale? Is there anything good about it?
Probably more like the life skills stuff. But then also just, I think my favourite thing in Gloriavale was like being a child and being in nature and like the bushwalks and like that part of it. Like I don't think I would have gotten through my childhood if I didn't have the nature around me to like disappear into the bush for a few hours. That's probably the best thing and the thing I miss most about like the West Coast. Yeah.
That's quite telling, eh? So it's more like scenery based, really, than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And when you disappeared in the bush for a few hours, what was that for? Like just to process thoughts, or
yeah, process thoughts, and like I did a lot of writing and reading, and just sleeping as well. Like you couldn't, and just peace, like a moment just to realize, I don't know, like process things and hide from the meetings on Sunday.
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
Sorry, Theo, can you bring your mic a bit closer? Wonderful,
Thanks, Jess. From Instagram, what did Theo know about the outside world?
That it was a bad, evil place and that everyone was going to hell. That was pretty much it.
Is she still religious?
I believe in a higher power. I believe in like the universe and the environment and connecting to nature, but that's about it.
So if there was
not religion.
So if there was a scale and there was like religious, agnostic, atheist, where would you be? Somewhere
Probably in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Within Gloriavale, what do people say about those that have left? So when you're in there and someone leaves, like, does everyone sort of gossip about them? Does everyone talk about them? Do they pray for them?
Like the word goes around that people have left and it's like they've damned their souls to hell and they didn't have like faith in God and they didn't trust the leaders, and pretty much you just think that they've gone, like they've disappeared. Like I remember when my best friend, when I was 11, her whole family just disappeared, and you just think that she's gone to hell, and that's all. And that's that. And then like they have burnings, like when I was younger, that you'd have to burn any like thing you had, like photos or anything to do with them, like their names can't really be mentioned again. That like that, it's like they never existed.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not aware that it's happening. So your friends don't say, "Hey, in the next couple of days I'm going to be leaving."
Not always. No, you don't tell anyone, because then you could be stopped.
How did you know it was the right decision to leave?
I knew from like the age of 14 that I had to get out of there. But I think when I got to 18, it was just like a lot of questioning, and then I pretty much got told I had to sign the commitment or leave. So that was was the last thing, last straw.
Yeah. Again, these are the questions from Instagram. We're just scratching the surface on some of the
Yeah.
stuff, and we'll get into that
Yeah.
in more detail when we get through these. Some of these are quite serious, but some of them are quite trivial. So once we get through these, we'll go through your story in sort of a more chronological order. Who decides the baby names? Do mothers get a say? 'Cause what's your name? Honey.
My name, was
Honey
Honey
Faithful.
Faithful. Yeah. The parents choose them, but they have to be biblical, and then they have to run them past the leaders first. Yeah.
And so where did Theophila come from? Theophila Pratt.
When I was 16, I changed my name in Gloriavale, and it had to still be religious, so I came up with Theophila. It came from a cow, to be honest.
What do you mean?
I was illegally milking cows with my cousins down at the dairy, and one of the cows' names was Theophila, and then I just remembered that when I was going to change my name.
Right. So Honey Faithful is a great name. It sounds like it could be a pop star.
It sounds like it could be a stripper's name.
A stripper's name. I wouldn't know about that sort of evil stuff.
It didn't work. I mean, having that sort of name in there, all the guys just hit on you, and like, I don't know, there was just like a mocking thing in terms of like women, and having that name, it was like confusing and like a lot of bullying related
really?
to it. Yeah, by men and like boys my age. Yeah.
What is the typical day for a Gloriavale woman? Or for you, I suppose, like a young woman, like a teenage girl.
Yep. Probably waking up at 4:30 to 5 and either going to work on one of the teams. So it could be going to make the bread for the community, so like 100 loaves, and then going to school, finishing at like 2:30, back to work, and then finishing maybe at 7 at night. Yeah. Starting again.
Seems to be a life with like very little joy. It feels like it's a life with sort of like purpose and structure and discipline, but maybe very little joy.
No joy and no like moment to like have a laugh or have a conversation with the person next to you. It's like just go, go, go. Because if you have a moment to think, then you might start questioning.
Yeah. Were there none of those moments that you can, like even snapshots where like you're having a laugh or a happy moment with?
There's a few moments,
Yeah.
but a lot of it's like moments of things that could get you in trouble. So like running away and like going into the bush and like that sort of thing. But it was always on terms that it was against the rules.
Yeah, you mentioned before that you were illegally milking Theophila, the cow. What happens when you break the law of Gloriavale?
You'll end up in a shepherds and servants meeting on a Sunday afternoon and questioned, and like you'll be sent into a room with like 12 of the leaders and questioned for a few hours.
For a few hours?
Yeah.
And the leaders are all men?
Yeah, all men and sitting around in a circle and you're sent in.
What sort of age?
All 40s to 70s.
Right. So you're a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And are they raising their voices? Or?
Oh, 100%. Like raising their voices. They all take turns at like screaming at you or yelling, questioning you. And you just sit there and wait for it to end. And then you have to sort of come to an agreement at the end that you're going to do something to show that you're going to submit to them. So it could be apologising, or it could be you get put out. Like I was put out a couple of times.
What does that mean?
Could mean a range of things, but when I got put out, I was sent to work in the sewing room every day when I was 15, and like I wasn't allowed to talk to any girls my age and not allowed to attend things that everyone else attended. So just went to the sewing room every day, sewed, then went home. Yeah.
So when you're in trouble, when you break the law,
Yeah.
break as in milking a cow, say that happens on a Wednesday. are you just waiting until Sunday for the disciplinary meeting?
Sometimes you're like, oh, is it going to happen? Or sometimes if it's serious, you'll get called into like a meeting that night. So like, if someone from the outside that's left comes in and you're seen talking to them, I was called into a meeting at like 2 a.m, woken up and was in a meeting with the leaders for a few hours and then to work at 4. So it can happen at any time. They can be knocking on your door at midnight.
What's the anxiety like leading up to these meetings? Like if you know a meeting's coming, are you shitting yourself?
Yeah, shitting yourself and disappearing. Up to the bush, hiding, hoping they don't find you.
That's why you're like you.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know you're eventually going to have to face the music.
You do. You know you are. You just, I guess, hope that someone else does something bad so they take over. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how stressful that is. Does it get easier though? Like those telling offs, you're like, oh, I'm in trouble again. It's another one. Whatever. Yeah.
You sort of just like, oh well. Yeah, and you sort of learn the lines that they like. So you learn the lines that will get you out of it. So you learn to like say sorry and say what they want you to say. So you just keep them in rotation and get through it and carry on. Say praise God and bless your brother and hope that does the trick.
Say all the right things and then just go back to milking the cows illegally.
Yeah, pretty much.
A good friend of mine, Clint, he's a very funny guy. He said, did she have a good role in the concert or was she put in the background?
Oh, no, I didn't have any role. Nah.
Why? Were you too much of a renegade?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Was that like a privileged position to get a role?
100%.
Yeah.
Only the chosen.
How much prep went into those concerts?
Months, like 6 months before the concert, like months and months of prep, making all the costumes, long hours. Yeah.
Was that a like a good position to have because it's I suppose a bit of joy?
Yeah, it was fun because you're doing something different, and you're excited about who's going to turn up at the concert.
Were you not motivated to change your evil ways to get a spot?
No, and I couldn't think of anything worse than representing Neville Cooper.
Yeah. Someone you might know, her Instagram name is Mans Dalton, says, I went to school with Theo. I don't have a question. I just want her to know that she's an inspiration.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, great. I think, yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. Since you've been out, so what is it now? Like 8 years? No.
Yeah, it'll be 9 years next month. Yeah.
How many conversations have you had where people have yelled at you?
Not many. Might be the other way around. No.
Are you yelling at Kevin, your partner, maybe?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
No.
But it's strange though, isn't it? Because this is all you know, and this is what you think life's all about, and then you get out there and you realise that it actually isn't.
No,
It's
exactly.
very abnormal.
I often I'll be waiting for someone to yell, and it doesn't happen. It's like, oh, it's not normal.
Like, in what sort of circumstances? Like, can you think of any that come to mind?
Probably more just like within the work life and like, I don't know, in stressful situations that you expect people to lash out at you when they're stressed.
Oh, and just when you make a mistake somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm pleased you don't have to put up with that anymore.
Yeah, same.
What has changed for her in the past year or so since the Escaping Utopia documentary came out?
I think it's been a great conversation starter, but it's been a journey, and I guess I still just keeping on thinking about my sister in India, and like lots of people asking me about how that's going.
Yeah, there were a few questions about that on Instagram, but yeah, we're going to get to that later. Biggest struggle after leaving Gloriavale?
Just the self-confidence and knowing where you fit in and knowing who you connect to and like what is life and knowing what you believe in.
Yeah, I can't imagine that because it must feel like, so you were born there, you leave at 18, so you leave as soon as you become an adult. So you're having these adult conversations with people and you must just feel like, I don't know, like you just can't relate to what's going on, and you really struggle to fit in.
Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of like while I was studying, like knowing where to fit in. I didn't know what half the conversations were about. A lot of Googling. A lot of wearing yeah, just trying to fit in.
Yeah, a lot of wearing what?
Wearing what's that brand with the ears? Now I can't even think of it.
Oh, Playboy?
Playboy. I took a Playboy towel to a Christian camp and had no clue what it was.
Oh, because
It's funny now, but
Playboy was popular for a while. Was that like the peak sort of popularity thing when you came out of Gloriavale?
nah, someone gave it to me. I
Right.
think they did as a joke, and I thought it was cool, and I took it to a Christian camp.
Besides family and friends, does she miss anything from her Gloriavale life? You may have covered off that before with the scenery.
Yeah, not really. Nothing.
How frequently do people leave, and does everyone else in Gloriavale gossip about them? I feel like we covered off that last bit earlier. But hey, how frequently do people leave?
When I left, it was every 6 months or so, every year. But now, like pretty much every day, there's someone leaving.
Wow, do you know what the population is there now?
Still must be like 500 something.
Right.
Yeah.
Theo left Gloriavale in 2016, which was peak Bieber fever. Did she know who Justin Bieber was?
Absolutely not.
Really? No. So, yeah, what were you... Okay, so when you were in there, so 15, 16, 17, 18 until you left, what were you aware of in terms of pop culture and music?
I knew of the Kardashians. But
How? Like, what did you know about
pretty
them?
much nothing really, but like just photos of them. Like I don't know, would look through all the magazines and like all like the modelling stuff, and would look through the pictures that way.
What magazines? Like when you're in Greymouth for a visit, or
No, like would get all the old newspapers and go through them, and just like when we're lighting the fire at 3:30 in the morning, just scroll through, rip papers out. Yeah.
So, and in terms of music,
Nothing. We like had the illegal like wiring radios together, and like listened to a few like songs, like Katy Perry songs, but other than that, not really anything.
Yeah. So, what radio did you listen to? I would have been on the radio when you were in
Yeah,
Gloriavale.
I think you were.
Yeah.
I think the Edge and that sort of stuff, and then like sports. Like I remember when the All Blacks played, and like when I was making cheese, I had a guy come and tell me the score, and I'd write it in the cheese book for the World Cup.
Right in the cheese book. Why?
The score of the All
Right.
Blacks game, I don't know. I just
Right, is
did it.
the cheese book like a diary, or
Yeah, well, like when I made cheese, we'd have to record like all the acid and what we did, how much milk, and at the bottom I'd just like write messages.
just for yourself?
Yeah,
Like a diary,
And then
then?
I always thought that because other people they'd be kept in the kitchen, and I always thought like it would be cool once I left, the other girls getting to read it, seeing if I left them any messages, like I don't know, to make them think about where they live.
I've never been to Gloriavale, and I've never been to prison either. But like what you're describing sounds worse than prison.
Yeah, a little bit.
First time she had McDonald's or KFC?
First time I had KFC, I went through with like a drag queen.
What?
Went through the drive-through. Like it was a friend, like a friend of a friend. They were like, "Oh, well, I'll take you to KFC," and then they were telling me about their life, and yeah.
So this is after you left Gloriavale and were living in Auckland?
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts on KFC?
So overrated. We had it in Gloriavale. It was like Neville Cooper's biggest thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
He
So you'd already had KFC?
yeah.
Yeah. What about McDonald's?
I think we used to go through the drive-through
Mm.
for the 50-cent ice creams, but I didn't know what it was because we never went in.
And shops like Kmart or Briscoe's?
Nothing. There's no shops in Greymouth.
Yeah.
No.
No, but the first time you went to one of those after leaving Gloriavale?
Yeah, I think it was all just a blur. Like Sylvia Park was my closest mall.
Mhm.
It was overwhelming, but
Yeah, that's
exciting.
massive. Yeah. Sylvia Park is probably like about the size of the whole Gloriavale compound.
Yeah.
Does she have any favourite swear words now?
Just the F word.
Did you ever swear in Gloriavale?
Oh,
Or did you know those words? Or does anyone use
not those words, but like saying shit was like the worst thing ever.
Mm. And if someone overheard you, you'd get in trouble for that? Right.
Yeah.
Right. What was the coolest little things you found out after you left?
I don't know.
There's nothing after you left that like just
Blew my mind.
blew your mind, really impressed you?
I just think like everything in a way, but like just that women could have an education and like that women were CEOs and like running the place. Like that sort of blew my mind.
Did that seem like fathomable to you? And
100%.
That's such a cool answer.
Yeah,
That's
like
really
that
cool.
sort of thing, like literally, and that I could do that
Mm.
if I wanted.
And here you are. You got a degree.
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't think I can just emphasize enough just how cool that is. So you had sort of limited education while you were growing up.
Yeah.
And then you leave at 18. You don't know anything about the outside world, and you've accomplished so much in the last 8 years since you've been out. It's really cool. Hope you're proud of yourself.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
proud of myself.
What was the first movie she saw after leaving Gloriavale?
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad one. Did you enjoy
not
it?
bad. You loved it.
5 stars.
Yeah.
But then again, you had nothing to compare it to, so-
Exactly. Yeah.
First concert she went to.
Pink.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Your friend, Rosie Overcomer, who I had on last year, she said Pink as well. Did
Oh,
you go
sure.
together?
Nah.
No. Why did you like Pink?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, she's a very good performer. That sets the bar very high for other concerts.
I love Sam Smith though. I've been to all his concerts in New Zealand.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? What's the appeal with Sam Smith?
Just being different and being who he is. Like just him being himself.
Yeah. In terms of technology, what was the hardest things to learn? Like, is it weird when you first get a phone?
Very weird. I think I used all my minutes up like in the first day. I don't know who I was talking to. But yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Someone wanted to know about clothes and fashion. Like, I suppose what they mean is when you wear the same blue dresses your entire life and that's all you know, when you can start making clothing choices for yourself, what do you get? You're wearing jeans today. That's not allowed.
It's a step up. Yeah.
Are jeans comfortable?
Oh, so comfy.
No, but I mean when you go from not wearing jeans your entire life to wearing them for
think-
the first time as an adult.
I think there's a power in wearing jeans as a woman. Like for me, I mean, I talk about it in my book. Like, I think it just gives you like a sense of control, and like, I'm wearing men's clothing, but it's not. And just I just find a power in it.
And in the beginning, when you started like wearing jewelry, have you got your ears pierced or anything?
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
your ears pierced. When you got your like piercings and your tattoo, like was there like a default sense of guilt or anything?
No,
No.
not at all. No,
Just felt-
tattoos are addictive.
Hey?
Yeah,
When you're getting them, does it sort of feel like the middle finger in a way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, that's great. Thanks for answering those Instagram questions.
all good.
Does it surprise you? Is it weird, this sort of things people want to know?
A little bit.
Yeah.
There's some really strange questions.
Like what's strange?
Just like, I guess they want to, like, lots of people ask you how many husbands you had, or just really weird things.
Yeah, but the husband thing, so if you were in Gloriavale, you'd most definitely be married now, with a number
Probably,
of
yeah.
kids.
Yeah,
Do you get any say in who you marry, or you just get paired up?
paired up. Yeah, no
So-
say.
So was there someone earmarked for you?
Well, like my sister got married, and the guy she married had a whole lot of brothers, and often they'll marry you off to the brothers of that same family. But yeah, couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah, because you're in a relationship. Are you engaged?
No.
No. But you're in a house. That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
With your partner Kevin. We'll
Yeah.
get into that. Yeah, that's cool. And you selected him yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Let's talk about the Gloriavale years. So, earliest memories. Like, if you go back as far as what you can.
Like feeding lambs in the paddock and stuff like that.
At what sort of age?
Like 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I suppose at that age, like, you only know what you know, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know anything different. You don't know that what's right and what's wrong and what's normal and what's not normal. It's just you and your family. And any happy times?
Some, like, of playing with my sisters and that. But a lot of, like, uncertainty and anxiety. Yeah.
Even at a young age?
Yeah. My dad was very, like, out of control and abusive, so he never knew what was going to happen in the night.
Abusive in what way?
Physically and, like, manipulative, to my mum. Yeah.
Never towards you kids?
Yeah, if you tried to get in, like, stand in between it and, like, stop it, then, yeah, it would get turned to you.
Yeah, and from what I can gather about the dynamic of Gloriavale, like, families are all in the same room.
Yeah.
So if a husband is being abusive to his wife, like, the kids are...
You're seeing everything.
They're seeing or hearing everything.
Yeah.
Like, physically abusive, verbally abusive, sexually abusive?
Yeah. All of it.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And then, like, overhearing the leaders telling my mum it's her fault because she's not a submissive wife, I think is a lot of, like, my, like, early memories, like, hearing that. Yeah. And then just knowing, like, that's my future if I stay here.
Do you feel a degree of sympathy for your mum?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about your dad? How do you feel towards him? Do you hate him?
I wouldn't say I hate him, but I don't have any time for him.
It's hard to forgive that.
Yeah. I don't just let him live his life as long as he's not hurting anyone else.
Why do you think nothing's done about that? Like these meetings you're talking about where you as a very young woman are getting a dressing down by these middle-aged men for a few hours on a Sunday. Like, why aren't they putting that energy into, geez, I'm getting emotional here. Why aren't they putting that energy into, like, addressing, like, illegal and appalling behaviour like that of your dad?
Exactly. Because if they address that, then they've got to address their own behaviour. And their own behaviours matches that. And so they can't, or they don't. They don't want to.
Is there, there's nothing you have FOMO about now, about Gloriavale? Like, do you feel like, do you know FOMO?
Yeah. Fear of
like,
missing out.
Yeah, like when you know there's a big occasion on, like, I don't know, like maybe the concert or whatever, or maybe your mum's birthday or a sibling's birthday, like, do you feel a sense of, like, mourning or loss that you're not there, or not particularly?
Not particularly. I think I have more of a fear of, like, missing out on my nieces and nephews' lives and, like, shaping it and, like, protecting them from what I went through. Yeah.
You know, who could you talk to about things in Gloriavale? Like, so from a young age you can remember your dad, being abusive to your mum. Like, is there anyone you could confide in?
Not really, like...
Just your own siblings and that's it, or...?
Like, I didn't talk to any of my siblings.
Why?
I think... I don't know, you just think they're going to tell on you. Like, everyone's dobbing each other in, like, to the leaders. And, like, our family was low on the hierarchy system. So all my siblings are trying to survive. They're trying to get higher in the hierarchy system. They'll do anything to get higher. So if you say anything to them, they'll dob you in. Like, they'll tell the leaders.
So you can't even trust your own family?
No.
Do you have trust issues now, or are you pretty good now?
Highly sceptical of people.
Well, that's understand. Like, there's shit. We'll get into the work that you've done since you left Gloriavale, like the work on yourself, and it's a lot to unpick. Like, you can't just it takes time and a lot of work to undo this pre-programming.
Yeah, a lot.
So in your late teens, you get asked to sign a Gloriavale commitment contract.
Yeah.
What is that and what sort of age?
Normally around 16 to 18 young people sign it in front of all the community. And it's pretty much just like signing your life away in terms of like that you'll marry whoever they say, you won't leave. And if you leave the community, you're doing it to the peril of your soul. And it's pretty much just saying like the leaders are the best people in the world, essentially. Yeah.
So you sort of dodged that because you don't want to sign it.
Yeah.
Did you know at that point that you wanted out?
Yeah, 100%.
When did you decide you wanted out?
Pretty much from the age of 14, I was like, I want to get out of here. But
Why?
I didn't want to get married to anyone in there, and I just wanted education.
Where did that strength come from?
I don't know. I think just the strength of like survival and wanting something better, and willing to take the risk without knowing what the risk was. Like I just thought something had to be better than that. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in there that it's a risk or a roll of the dice that they're not prepared to take.
Yeah. No, they're not. Because it means that their whole life is a lie.
When did you start saying? Who did you tell that you didn't want to sign the contract or that you might be interested in leaving? Like, did you talk to your mum about it or anyone? Or
like, I think my mum sort of knew, but like I had a few friends and like some of them had left and they had gone, and so you sort of talk to them when they were there, and then they would disappear, they would be gone, and then you sort of just. I think the thing that made me stay there as long as I did was that knowing that once you left, you're cut off, and that was that. And so you sort of just hang in there, hoping you could stay there a bit longer to, like, I guess, get older and then, like, still have relationships with your family. Because once you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to imagine, like, just what a terrifying prospect that is. Like, it's everything you know, this tiny little world that you've got, that you've had for 18 years of your life. Your family's there. Absolutely everything you know is there. And you're turning your back on that. And it's not, there's no, you go out, have a look, and if it doesn't work out, come back. It's like all or nothing. And
pretty much.
I can't imagine just how terrifying that is for anyone.
Yeah.
So, so the leadership group, they keep trying to get you to sign the contract?
Yeah.
You keep where's Theo? Oh, she's hiding in the bush again.
Exactly.
How long does this go on for, this dance?
A few months of, like, me getting up and apologising and, like, trying to say that, I'm not going to question anymore. And then it just came down to someone had come in that had left, and I got asked where they were. And I didn't know where they were. Like, they'd come in and they were hiding and they were being looked for. And I pretty much someone asked me where they were. And I was like,
someone had come in from the outside?
Yeah,
like a former Gloriavale?
Yeah.
Right.
And I got asked where they were because I was friends with them. And I just like, I don't know where they are. But if I did, I wouldn't tell you anyway. And then that just blew up. And from there came the thing, we want you to sign the commitment. Yeah, from that, it was like on a Friday morning, and I just had like Neville Cooper, his wife, other people just coming and screaming at me, like saying like, you're a disgrace, and like just, I don't know, going off.
Yeah, like most people would find that sort of confrontation quite like distressing. Are you just numb to it at this time? This
you
point?
Just stand there and take it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did it used to break you down in the beginning though?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then after a while, you just grow immune to it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So what are your recollections of the last few days? Was it like a crazy, chaotic time, or?
They sent me to my room because they didn't want me to be around any of my friends or anyone else. So I was like, sweet. Went home and slept all day. It was great. I was like, sweet.
Didn't have to make any cheese.
Exactly. I don't have to do any work.
But were you actually sweet though? Because it's it's never nice being in a position where you know you've like let everyone down or everyone's pissed off with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no, I think I was more concerned like about my mum, but in terms of me or anything else, I was like, it's happening. Like I'm gonna leave. Like, but you didn't know when, but
Mm.
like how it was gonna work out. But it was sort of exciting in a way.
Mm. Deep down, like, your mum must be quite proud of you.
I think she is. Yeah.
Like, it's this defiant streak, it's actually something to be proud of.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's
But just to question things rather than just like toe the line.
100%. Always question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, God, what was going through your mind the last couple of days? So you knew you were being kicked out?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be
Yeah.
a come to that. It was just like you didn't know. I didn't know what to expect on the outside, but it's just like trying to say goodbye to my friends and stuff. Not that I really got to, because once you sort of say you're going, you're like. Once I said I was leaving, I was sent to my room, and the men were out. Like men were outside my door, stopping anyone saying goodbye to me, and then I was just like ushered into a van and taken off the property.
Oh, so you sort of kept in isolation, like to
Yeah.
use the prison analogy again.
Yeah. So I was put out for a couple of days before I actually made the decision. And then, once I had said yes, you're pretty much just like not allowed to see anyone, and they keep you separated and get you out of there as quick as possible.
And what do you leave with?
I left with like an old suitcase filled with random things. The one thing I wanted to take was like all the photos that I had of my childhood or like anything with me in it, because I knew that once I'd leave, they'd rip them up and they'd be gone. Yeah.
Are they there's like a photo album in the middle of your book,
Yeah.
Unveiled.
Yeah.
Is that what those photos are?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do they like check your belongings before you leave?
Yeah, they took my dress off me.
The blue dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause your friend Rosie, who I had on the podcast a year ago, she kept one of the dresses.
Yeah.
I can't remember what her answer was, but there was a reason for doing it. Why did they take the dress off you?
Because they don't want you to wear it. Like, they don't want you going out and wearing it. Not that you'd want to anyway.
So so what do you wear when they drop you off at the bus stop?
They gave me, like, some old clothes from the costume room. Like, they used to keep the stash of clothes for people that visited. So if, like, I don't know, a chick turned up with wearing jeans, so I'd often offer them skirts to wear. So they gave me clothes, like a long skirt.
Oh, okay. So it's civilian clothes, but Gloriavale friendly civilian clothes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no one's going to enter with the bunny on the shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what time of day do they make you leave?
Well, I left in the afternoon. I stayed at one of their houses where they put people out. And then, they dropped me off the bus stop at about 6 in the morning.
Who drops you off at the bus stop?
My brother and my
Yeah.
mum.
Can you remember that last night? Did you in the halfway house? Did you sleep okay or?
I didn't really sleep. And I think I just remembered, like, journaling, like, pretty much writing that I'd done the right thing.
Yeah. Have you kept your journals and things?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what helped make up the book?
Some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When was the last time you reflected on that and read on that?
I think when we did the doco, I went through a lot of it. And then, writing my book.
How does it make you feel now when you read it?
Like, you read back on it. And even though, like, I was leaving and I disagreed with Gloriavale, I was brainwashed. Like, I was messed up in my head. But, like...
You were brainwashed.
Yeah, like, just my view on the world and, like, what I thought I could do or be. Just, I guess I didn't know what wasn't, like, installed for me once I left.
And that, yeah, can you elaborate on that in terms of that you thought you thought small or?
Yes, thought small, and everything was based, like, all my decisions, I had a scripture in the Bible to back up why I did it. Like, it was always just trying to justify everything and, like, to try and prove Gloriavale wrong in a way. Yeah.
So, so your mum and your brother drop you off.
Yeah.
How long's the car ride to the bus stop?
Maybe it was like 30 minutes.
Okay. And you're talking or
Nah, just sat there.
just listening to Katy Perry on the radio? Just sitting there in silence.
Yeah.
And is it tense? Like, are they angry at you or are they
Not angry, I think they're just,
indifferent.
Yeah, I think, like, they're sad that I'm going, I think.
Mm. And then they drop you off. Is it a hug?
I think my mum gave me a hug, but not my brother.
Yeah. And are you crying?
I don't think so. I think it's a lot of adrenaline and, like, just some excitements, but some, like it's finally happening.
Mm.
And, like, just coming to terms with it in your head.
Mm. So you've got your suitcase, the clothes on your back, and when do you get given the $200?
Yeah, they gave it to me then,
Yeah.
$200 in, like, an envelope.
Your mum and your brother. And can you remember your last conversation with both of them?
Just what you said earlier about my mum, like, the whole thing about damning my soul to hell. And then, like, my brother pretty much just said, my kids will never hear your name again. And that was that. The bus was there and I got on.
Theo, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. You numb yourself to it, as shitty as that is, but yeah.
So the bus turns up, and it's the first. You've seen a bus before, eh? You know what a bus is.
Sort of know what it is.
So this is the first time actually being on a bus.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, who else is? Where do you sit on the bus? Who else is on the bus?
Just lots of people going to the airport.
Right.
So I just sat over by the window and yeah,
Just didn't chat to anyone.
nah.
So, and do you know how do you know where to get off? And
It just took me straight to the airport. And once I got there, I didn't know what to do.
yeah, so you go from Greymouth to Christchurch. How long is the bus ride?
5 hours?
It's a lot of time in your own thought.
lot,
in your
a
own
lot of
headspace.
time in your own thought. Yeah.
Hmm. Can you remember what you were thinking, or is it just too far?
I remember thinking, what am I going to do once I get to the airport? And I didn't have a phone at that point. And I'm like, how am I going to know who's going to pick me up? Like, what's going to happen? Like, just that sort of thing.
Hmm. Yeah. So you had a flight booked from Christchurch to Auckland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was going to pick you up? Yeah,
Thanks.
Alex and Keitha. Who
Yeah.
are they?
So my mum grew up in Otahu and went to school with Keitha. They were neighbours. And somehow Keitha came and visited one of the concerts. She was a real estate agent, and I kept one of her real estate agent cards like under my drawer, you know, when you pull a drawer out and put it under. So I kept one of those cards the whole time. And then my mum rang her number and they said they would pick me up, thinking I was coming for a holiday and they were going to drop me back off at the airport.
Like a week later.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, wow. All right. We'll get to them in a second. It's kind of cool that your mum played a part in,
Yeah.
I suppose, helping facilitate this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you arrive at Christchurch Airport. Then what? Like, I'm fortunate enough to have done quite a bit of travelling. I still get a little bit of anxiety if I'm at like Changi Airport in Singapore or Heathrow or something, a big airport. I can't imagine what it's like. So you're in Christchurch, and this is the first airport you've seen in your life.
Yeah. I was trying to lug my big heavy bag along, and then a guy came up behind me and picked it up and put it on a trolley. And was like, here you go. And I was just like, what just happened? A guy was nice to me. Like, that just blew my mind, like that a man would help you. And then I just went straight to the help desk. Managed to get on the flight.
Yeah, what do you say at the help desk?
And I just showed them like my ticket. I had a printout piece of paper and they showed me where to go.
Did you say I've just escaped from Gloriavale? Or?
No, just
Right.
tried to blend in. Didn't work very well.
I feel like there'd be I mean, there's such a level of awareness in New Zealand about Gloriavale, level of awareness and
especially in the South Island.
Yeah. So I feel like most people you meet, if you said, hey, I've just come from Gloriavale and I don't know anything about what I'm doing, I feel like most people would be quite compassionate.
Yeah.
You didn't want to stand out like that. She could probably tell. Did you? Was your voice a bit different then to what it is now?
You got the good old Gloriavale accent.
Okay, so you found a good because you could easily go to the help desk and find someone that wasn't as helpful.
Yeah.
You really could, depending on what day someone's having. Okay, so because there's little things that you don't even think about, like being at an airport for the first time, checking your luggage in, going through security.
Yeah.
So the lady from the help desk, she guided you through all of that?
You should just say go that place, so then I'd go there, work that part out, then I'd figure out the next part.
Mm. Then you go to a cafe and get a panini, and that's your $200 gone.
Yeah. I don't think I ate that day.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine what you're going through. So then you're waiting for your flight. How long's the wait?
A few hours.
So you're just waiting by the gate?
Yeah, and then my flight was delayed, and I didn't know what was happening, but made it on the flight somehow.
Mm.
Yeah.
What was that like? Your first flight at 18? Was that terrifying?
Terrifying. Sat next to a screaming baby. Felt like home. But nah, it's just like, oh shit. And I didn't know where Auckland was. Like, I didn't know if... I knew my mum grew up in New Zealand, but I didn't really fathom that Auckland was in New Zealand. So I didn't really know where I was going.
Had you never seen a map?
Nah, well, only of like Greymouth maybe. They don't really show you like the wider world, because then that might make you think, oh, what's out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you remember much about that flight? Like, did the screens come down with the... What did you think of the first New Zealand safety video?
It was a bit boring.
Oh, was
Nah. I don't know. Can't remember.
No, I suppose you had a lot of things on your mind. But what about when they come around and they offer you like a cookie or some chips or whatever? Did you...
Grab that coffee. Nah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Had you had coffee before?
Yeah, we had a little coffee black market. Yeah.
Oh, you weren't supposed to have coffee.
No.
Right.
Caffeine.
Right. I was caffeine sinful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you get off the plane at Auckland.
Yeah. And all I had was that real estate agent card, looking for the face that matched it. In the airport.
Oh, of course, because you didn't have a phone.
I didn't have a phone.
So, but how did you find your way to the baggage carousel? You figure all that out, or did
I've
you?
just followed the group of people that came off the plane. I was a sheep for once in my life.
It's hard to get your head around just how
Yeah.
confusing everything is and how confusing. Okay, so then the tiny little thumbnail on the business card.
Yeah,
You're looking for that person, even though it was how many years old was the business card?
like 4.
Right. Okay, and then you managed to find the person,
Yeah,
Keitha and Alex. Yes,
Yeah.
they pick you up.
they were looking for me, and I just ended up seeing their face
Right.
in the crowd, and
And what did they know of you? Just that you were there for a holiday.
yeah, they thought I was coming up for a holiday, and they were going to drop me off the next week.
Yep. And when did you drop that bombshell that you were
think that-
a long-term guest?
I think when we got home, they were like, "Oh, when do you need to go back to the airport? Like, when do we drop you back?" And I was like, "Oh, I can't go back." And then, yeah, they sort of realised, "Oh shit, what have we got to deal with a teenager?"
Yeah. How were they? Were they quite compassionate? And,
Oh yeah, 100%. They were
Yeah.
great. Yeah, drove me around like where my mum grew up, and like, yeah, it was good.
Oh, that's so kind, isn't it?
Yeah.
And quite helpful in teaching you about things. And,
Yeah, like how to catch the bus and just
Oh, that was for selfish reasons. They just didn't want to be driving you around.
probably Auckland traffic.
Yeah.
Just like supermarket and getting a bank card, getting ID, all that stuff.
Of course, yeah. You don't think about that. So they, they pick you up from the airport, and then you go to Sylvia Park on the way home.
Yeah, yeah.
My God, that must have been mind-blowing.
Mind blowing.
Just like the lights, the stimulation,
Yeah.
everything about it.
Everything. It's like, what is this place?
Yeah, was that terrifying or exciting?
A little bit terrifying, but then just like exciting.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then what shops do you go to? Just Pack and Save?
We just went to Pack and
Yeah.
Save. It was late at night.
Yeah.
Got food and like choosing something to eat. I don't have a clue.
Mm. What
Didn't
did
have
you?
to eat, didn't have to eat porridge.
Oh, do you eat the same? Is it like a meal schedule in Gloriavale?
Yeah.
Yeah. So today's we're recording this on a Wednesday. What would they be having today?
Probably liver and toast, liver and gravy and toast for lunch, and maybe like mashed potato, carrots, some stew for dinner, and some hot custard dessert. Yuck.
So what did you have that first night?
I don't know. Can't remember.
Right. Not liver though.
Not liver.
No. But you have a Coca-Cola though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought me a box of Coke.
But yeah, what did you know about Coke?
Nothing.
You must have seen it or seen branding or seen like an ad.
Yeah. I knew that it just had caffeine in it.
You're a fiend for the caffeine.
Yeah.
So, what's it like? Because I can't remember the first time I had Coca-Cola, but I've got a problem. I also have like 3 Coke Zeros a day to this day.
Oh, shit.
I love this stuff. I'm mad for it. So, what's it like when you have a Coke for the first time at 18?
Don't know.
You didn't like it?
Didn't like it. Wasn't a fan. No.
Yeah, because in the book you say you sort of pretended you like it. So for Alex and Keithy, you go like, this is delicious. Or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they keep buying it for you.
Yeah.
Why? Just being compliant or
Yeah, like I was
subservient?
too scared to say that I didn't like it, like to have an opinion, even though I had opinions, but I was like, didn't know like how they would react.
Mm.
Like if they would be angry at me, I don't know.
Wait until Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to get the Coca-Cola leadership group together.
Yeah.
So, and they must have been so supportive. Like, were they giving you an allowance, or because that $200 wouldn't have gone very far?
No. We went to Wins and I got a benefit.
Okay.
Yeah. Got me through that time, and then, yeah.
Can you remember how much that was?
I think it was like $215 a week.
Okay. Were they charging you some board or?
Yeah. Charged me like $100 a week.
Oh yeah.
And then the Wins gave me a voucher for the warehouse. It was buzzy going to the warehouse. Gloriavale doesn't believe in the warehouse.
Oh, so you'd never been, because I think when I had Rosie, your friend on the podcast, she told me maybe she'd been there, but it was you go in, you never go in alone. It's always in pairs, and you go in there with a purpose, like to buy 100 pairs of shoes that are on sale or whatever.
Yeah.
So you could just go in and have a look around, and
Yeah.
why was it buzzy?
Just because they had banned the warehouse.
Oh, because they were selling
After a book.
Gloriavale book.
Yeah. And so then it's like, get to do something Gloriavale doesn't believe in. Anything that sort of was like against what they believed in was like exciting.
Mm. Oh, so you wanted to make yourself like Coca-Cola, I reckon, for that
Yeah.
reason. It's so much to get your head around. Like just beginning. Like it's like starting a brand new life at the age of 18.
Yeah.
When do you start driving lessons and things?
Pretty much straight away. Like I had my full license within a year. I paid for lessons, and Keitha took me out. I think the first time I drove on the motorway, I forgot to put my seatbelt on. I was so terrified, but straight away.
Were you motivated personally to do all these things, or were they sort of like telling you this is what we need to do next?
They just like guided me, but I think anything that a woman couldn't do in Gloriavale, I wanted to do. So like women don't really learn to drive, or like you don't get your hair cut, and like anything that you couldn't do, I wanted to prove that I could.
Yeah, and what sort of clothes did you buy for yourself when there were suddenly no restrictions?
Well, thankfully I was given like a lot of clothes, but like I think I bought my first pair of jeans the first weekend I was out. But yeah.
Shit, that must have felt so empowering.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after 7 months, you move out of Alex and Keitha's place. Geez, are you still in touch with them now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so kind.
Yeah. They're amazing.
Like they didn't need to do that, I suppose.
Not really.
Yeah.
They could have just rung Gloriavale back up and said, like, this isn't okay, and sent me back. But
So when you leave their house, what do? You move into a flat with others, or?
I ended up going. So I was going to church for a while when I first left, and an older lady from one of the churches, I went and lived with her. Good old Pamua.
And then when do you decide to educate and study?
I did a level 5 like early childcare course like in the first year of leaving, and then started working, and then 2 years later went to AUT. Yeah.
Yeah. So that first year out, like it sounds exciting. Like there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. But at the same time, it must, I don't know, were there many times where you sort of found yourself like crying yourself to sleep, or just cry? Yeah.
All the time. And like I remember being in like social situations and being so anxious and like having to go to the bathroom to like just have a cry and like know that I don't know, you just felt so out of place. I didn't feel like I fitted in anywhere. And like I was 18, but I didn't feel like I was 18.
You felt like just a little kid, or
I felt really naive, but then
Mm.
also I had been through so much shit that I was like, I don't relate to like the typical 18-year-old.
Mm. Yeah, and I suppose that you think I should feel happy, like you know,
Yeah.
I'm doing things, but then there's all this trauma or stuff that at this point hadn't been addressed.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Geez, you've been through a lot, eh?
Yeah.
And you've done very, very well. So why occupational therapy?
I think helping people find meaning in life is sort of what drew me to it. Yeah.
Mm.
I was working with kids with disabilities at the time, and I think helping people that didn't have a voice of their own find and have a voice and do things that they found meaningful was like really cool, I think. And I didn't have that growing up, so yeah.
Mm. Are there many people with disabilities or special needs in Gloriavale?
Not too many, and the ones that weren't treated very nicely
Really? In what way?
because they couldn't work, they couldn't toe the line, and they couldn't be like how Neville wanted them to be.
Mm.
And there was just a lot of bullying. Yeah.
So your sister in India, Precious, that's her name. She's
Yeah.
been there since 2012.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so she left Gloriavale to go to India. You left 4 years later. Why did she leave? What are your recollections of that time?
Why did my sister?
Yeah, to go to India.
She had visited once when she was 17, and then the leaders wanted someone to marry a man over there, and she was chosen to go, and yeah, so she left to go marry him.
Mm. And you said on the Escaping Utopia documentary, my goal is I will not let her be forgotten.
Yeah.
And you haven't.
No,
You're still working on it.
still working on it.
Yeah. So in the Escaping Utopia documentary, there's a phone call that's recorded on camera, and it was like the third call that you'd had in 9 years. So you had this number, and you kept on trying,
Yeah.
but it was hardly ever answered. What was that like? Were you nervous when you were making the phone call on camera
Yeah.
and it was being recorded?
Yeah. You didn't know what she was going to ask you.
Yeah.
But, nah. And because it's like, our lives are so different. And it was like, how do I relate to her?
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah, because the impression that you got, cause in that Escaping Utopia documentary, you go over to India and you get the feeling that she's miserable and she's just like waiting for God to save her.
Yeah.
Basically waiting to die for something better to come along.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I thought it was going to be bad, but that was really bad. And like, I didn't even recognize her. She wasn't my sister. Like, she wasn't who I remembered as my sister.
How was that, seeing her on camera for the first time in like 10 years? Heartbreak?
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah, you described her in that documentary as lifeless.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, what did that do to you? Like when you drive away and you're back at your hotel in India or whatever,
Yeah.
knowing you're leaving your sister behind and your nieces and nephews. Describe that feeling.
It's just like despair in a way. Like, it's just like there was no hope. And it was like, it was hard to walk away knowing that how they were living and knowing that there was like no future for them.
Mm. And where are things at now?
We've done a lot of work with NB and the border people and the police. We've done lots of interviews, me and Rosie, and working with Deborah Manning, human rights lawyer. And they're taking it quite seriously, and it's work in progress. Like, they're updating us often, and yeah.
So for you, what would the dream scenario be in terms of your sister and her family? To get them back to New Zealand?
Yeah, get them back to New Zealand. not necessarily to leave Gloriavale, but like to get them to have a life and like to have a choice like that. They're not stuck in India.
Yeah, because from what I could gather from the vague bits and pieces I've seen in the documentary, that's the issue, that they may not have the necessary documentation. So her passport might be expired, or she may not be able to get passports or documentation for the kids to leave the country.
Yeah.
Okay, so she might come. Your goal would be that she might come back to New Zealand, potentially go back into Gloriavale if that's what she chooses to do with the kids.
Yeah.
You'd just rather her be in New Zealand than over in India.
Yeah. And like have the support of my family. I mean, the culture in India is not great, and like how she's been, like the abuse, the cycle of abuse that's in New Zealand, Gloriavale, is carried on over there. And like the kids aren't safe and she's not safe.
Where does this energy for you come from? Like to keep fighting? Like it's hard enough work, establishing your own life and your own career, like as a woman that's fairly newly, escaped or exited Gloriavale.
Yeah.
Where does the energy come from for you? Like to keep fighting for your sister
I
and
think
stuff?
the sense of justice and the sense of that everyone deserves to have the choice to leave Gloriavale that I had, and my sister doesn't have that choice right now, and neither do her kids.
What do you think she makes of you and the life you're leading now?
Who knows? I mean, I hope that she looks and sees like that at least I have a future and a choice now, and that I'm happy. But yeah, I don't know.
Was she your older sister?
Yeah, she's my older sister.
Yeah. What was she like? Was she more compliant than what you were?
More compliant, yeah, and like really cared about what the leaders thought and like just trying to get by and just wanting to get away from like the abuse of like my father.
Well, here in New Zealand, there's around about 5 million of us, and only 600 of that 5 million are in Gloriavale. So what could the rest of us do to help or support?
I think like keep ringing your local MPs, keep like asking questions about that, like asking what they're going to do. But like if you ever meet someone from Gloriavale, like just I guess treat them like a normal person, like don't put us all in a box. But also, yeah, say hello. But in terms of shutting down Gloriavale, I think it's just, keeping on, like, advocating and, like, if there's ever petitions or anything, like, just join it and, like, there's always someone. There's always cases. But, but listen to our stories.
When people meet you, what do they want to know? Is it basically like the Instagram questions I had?
A lot of it is.
Yeah. Does that get annoying or?
A little bit annoying. And sometimes people tell you how Gloriavale's run and it's like, oh, okay. But then they don't listen to you. So then I don't really have time for those.
Unreal. Oh, so they're basing it on what they've seen on TV?
Yeah.
Like what sort of things? What are they saying?
Oh, they just ask you like, oh, so this happened to you. And it's like, not really like that. But like they think that they know how Gloriavale's run. Yeah.
It's so annoying when you meet people like that, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying that you've got one mouth and two ears, and you should use them in equal. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about your life now, just as we wrap up. So you put a post on Instagram last September where you talked about your medication for depression.
Yep.
Yeah. How's your mental health now?
Good. Stable. As good as it can be, I think. It's a journey.
Yeah. How is your mental health in Gloriavale, like up until the age of 18?
Just like anxiety and like just numb and life wasn't really worth living.
Yeah, did you ever contemplate like taking your own life in Gloriavale?
Not really. It was only once I left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
When was that?
First 2 years, first 3 were really hard.
Like frequently?
Yeah, and lots of panic attacks, lots of just like, what am I doing? Like, yeah.
And that's so understandable.
Yeah.
But you see, from the Gloriavale leaders' perspective, they'd be like, see, this is
So-
what...
Exactly.
They would blame it on the fact that you've left the security of Gloriavale.
Yep.
But it's like, it's just like, yeah. I mean, I'm in awe of what you've done. Like, I can't imagine being in your position at the age of 18 and like starting to set up a life from brand new at that point.
Yeah.
It's a lot to go through, so I'm not surprised. How did you get out of that sort of funk, or how did you get through that?
Therapy and like just talking about it. And then just writing things down. And I think going to uni sort of saved me in a way. Yeah.
How so?
Opened up my worldview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you know about therapy, or who suggested you get therapy?
It was after I did my first police statement in 2018. And then, they offered me a therapist. You get like 5 free sessions and then you got to find your own. And that was a mission of its own.
Yeah, everything's a mission, eh?
Yeah.
So, so what was the police meeting for?
Just a statement to like report some of my abuse, like sexual abuse as a child. Yeah.
Was that from your father?
No. From family member.
Okay, okay. Has that been addressed by the courts?
No, never went further.
Right. How do you feel about that?
It's hard to like feel that you've been heard, but I think as long as it's in the system and there's a record and no one else gets hurt by the same person, I feel like it was worth doing.
Was there like a rock bottom moment for you after leaving Gloriavale?
I think, 2018 I moved house like 5 times and like just feeling like, what's the point? What's the point of life? And it just,
How are you today when we're sitting here today in 2025?
I think this year's going to be good. I'm like grounded and know who I am and like, building my confidence.
Yeah. And Kevin, your partner.
Yeah.
When did you guys meet? How did this relationship come about?
We met through friends. And then, we started going out and just over 6 years later, we're still together.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Nah, he's
That's
great.
cool. So you met through friends. Did he know about your history, that you were from Gloriavale?
No, just from me. Like I had sort of told him. He wasn't fazed at all.
Was he curious or any questions or?
He was curious, but more like that I was okay and like are your family still pestering you and that, like just more like making sure I was okay.
Just a supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is how a healthy relationship should be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your plans for the future? So you guys got a house.
Yep.
His childhood cat has just recently died at the age of 14.
Yep. And we're going to get a dog in a couple of weeks. So, and then just travel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
I want to go to Japan, but he wants to go to Mongolia. Don't ask me why, but...
Now, how do you feel about the future? You feel optimistic?
Yeah. It's daunting. Like, I have to try not to think about my sister in India too much in terms of, like, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. But just got to keep having the conversations and keep working on it and know that something will happen.
And what brings you joy now?
Just life and, like, nature, my job, and, having a home.
Yeah.
Having a place to call home. Yeah.
Do you have more happy days than sad days?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've mentioned your sister that's over in India, and you've got another sister that's just sitting through the other side of the glass right now.
Yeah.
She's only been out 3 years.
Yeah.
How's she doing? Because I suppose, I mean, you've got a big head start on her, like 5 years.
Yeah.
So you can sort of picture where you were 3 years in, which was a dark place. How's she doing?
She's doing good. It's like keeping on having conversations and helping her find her confidence, but she's doing really well. It's just navigating the therapy, like the ACC therapy system is really tough. So, and that's like a big passion for me, is like helping that become easier for other leavers, like helping them being able to access that support. Yeah.
Yeah, how often do you see a therapist now?
Every week,
Yeah.
still. Yeah.
Do you find it helpful?
It is helpful, but
Do you find a good one?
I have found a good one now,
Yeah.
but it's taken me a while.
Yeah. It does, yeah, it can take a while.
Yeah.
They say that about I put off going to therapy for a long time for that reason, because some friends of mine said, oh, it's really good, but it takes a while to find the right one. It's like, I don't want to have that introductory session over and over again. It's like,
Exactly.
I'll just rather you just bottle things up. But if you persist through it and find a good one, it is well worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You think you'll ever fully get over the trauma?
No, I think it's with you for life.
Yeah. But you're managing to coexist with it.
Yeah.
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 And this book, A Story of Surviving Gloriavale, Unveiled. Proud of it?
Very proud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it coming out? Like anxiety, nerves?
A little bit nervous, but I hope I've like done it justice and like used my voice well enough in it. I guess like the advocate like for other women, and not just women from Gloriavale, but like women in any controlled environment. Yeah.
I can see why you were, when you were still in Gloriavale, why you were attracted to Katy Perry's music. So it's very female empowerment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to hear me roar. It's a great song.
Yeah.
And, you're a firework. Yeah. I think Katy Perry would like to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like the name of the book, like the whole unveiled part is like in there, women wear veils, like their headscarf, and that's supposed to mean that they're in submission to the men and like that they don't have a voice. So like that was the reason for calling it Unveiled, like taking off that veil and using the voice that I have.
Yeah.
Using like working with my strengths and being me.
Do you have, at the time we're recording this, the book's yet to be released. Do you have like moments where you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about, some old friends or family reading it? And you know what I mean? Those moments of like, what the?
Yeah, shit. There might be some people questioning themselves. Like, I don't know if you read in that part about my I don't know, just the things I used to get up to in Gloriavale, like spitting in the leader's ice cream.
Oh, no. No, I only got it sent yesterday and I'm a real slow reader. Oh, my God. Is
Like-
that right?
I think there might be some leaders thinking shit wasn't mine. But no.
What else? What other stuff did you get up to?
We used to go on like vacations once a year. Like, our family went to Punakaiki one year. And it's like quite a touristy sort of place. And like, I found a beer bottle in the bush and pretended to be drunk one time. It's like in my Gloriavale outfit, like 14. I was like stumbling around and pretending to be drunk.
How did you know what it meant to be drunk?
I think just from movies, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the movies that like portrayed the world as being a bad place.
Yeah.
And part of me wanted to like embarrass Gloriavale.
What's your relationship with alcohol like now? Can you remember the first time you got drunk?
Yeah.
What was that,
Good
18? 18 after you got out?
Yeah. Well, they have Whorehound in Gloriavale.
They have what?
The homebrew. It was called Whorehound. They don't make it anymore.
What is that, Whorehound?
Whorehound. It was made from hops. It tastes like spates.
Right.
We used to drink that like 1.5 litre bottles of that stuff. But like
Who you and the bad kids?
Yeah, we'd break the locks and get it. But outside, I think the first thing I think I got drunk off was like a bottle of Scrumpy. But nah. Love a good red wine now. Can't go wrong.
Don't we all, sister?
Yep.
Central Otago Pinot Noir.
Yep.
Tell you what.
It's the best.
Hey, it's been great to sit down with you today, Theo.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really cool. I'm incredibly proud of you, and I hope you're proud of yourself too.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and Taylor Swift now. What do we think? We like Taylor?
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Hey, best of luck for the book, eh?
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
best of luck for the future. Hopefully, hopefully there's more happy days than sad days.
Yep. Hopefully. There is.